I watched the Atherton project like thousands of times, and Clay couldn't believe me that I watched it that many times. But it's like I was a super fan, and I knew who he was, and like he's the guy who was hanging out with the Athertons. Like, so sick.
The off season, big changes as we've talked about with the team. Let's talk a bit about the bike. So arguably, you know the Tues, you grew up kind of riding that bike, I suppose, and had a lot of your early success on it. But there's a new one. And I think you were one of the fairly early people to get on it, right?
Yeah, exactly. I already rode it in like January 2023. So
Sweet.
yeah, it's been pretty good, and it's definitely been a big advantage for my decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So do you, like, throughout the season, are you tempted to try and spend a bit of time on the Tues, even though you're racing on the Trek still at that point? Like, how?
We did a testing session in January 2023, and then I did another one in April.
Uh-huh.
And then it was funny because I was riding the Trek and the Tues back to back, even though I already signed for YT. But I just wanted not to double check, but like just to make sure that it's like not too far off, and that I know that where we need to go after the season to go in which direction.
Yeah.
And then honestly, after Mountain End, I didn't touch a bike for like a whole month, so I didn't really spend time on like testing it. And then like we did another testing in November, but it was already so cold and it was snowing in Leogangen and Schladming. So the testing was like kind of shit, and I was like, let's not bother about it. It's gonna be a problem for future Vali. And then I went filming for Deathgrip already on the new bike. So that was actually the first week riding on a new bike, and then we went straight filming for Deathgrip. So
go on, tell us a little bit about that. So you and Marine and Brendan headed out. Was it Oregon?
It was Oregon, yeah. In November. It was sick. It was the first time I got asked to be part of a movie, so I was like so stoked. And I'm a massive fan of Bran, and even bigger fan of Clay Porter, and like he's like the OG. And honestly, like I watched the Atherton project like thousands of times, and Clay couldn't believe me that I watched it that many times. But it's like I was a super fan, and I knew who he was, and like he's the guy who was hanging out with the Athertons. Like, so sick. But it was like such a honor to be a part of that movie, and it's also the first women's segment. And you know, it's like you get to see a few women's segments, but it's always like free ride, rampage style stuff. But you never see like different riders, because it's most of the time the free ride girls, they make their way into the movies, which is pretty cool, but you never see any racers doing anything. And then I feel like we racers, we also look cool on the bike, and you will see it in the movie. It's gonna be epic.
Have you seen the segment?
Not yet.
Okay.
So Clay, always after every day shooting, Clay asked me, you want to come? And I was like, no, I want to be in the cinema and like be in my chair and eat popcorn and watch it on the big screen.
So you're gonna hold off?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Yesterday, I watched the trailer because I thought he's going to send me the link for the full movie, but it was just a trailer. So. But the trailer already like gave me goosebumps, so can't wait to see it in the movie.
Excited for that. Yeah, they delivered on the first one, so no doubt they'll do it again with this one. That's sweet. So yeah, you've been riding this new bike in the off season, and for projects like that, I guess you're riding it unwrapped, but at races and stuff. And I guess in like New Zealand, it's been in the kind of cover. Mm-hmm. Like, does that impact things? I guess it adds a bit of weight and like the wind and
wind, yes, especially heat. If you're riding in Australia, like it's not really great for the shock. So we started like cutting holes in it and
to get some airflow.
To get some airflow, but it's that stuff you don't really think about it before you put it on. But you just deal with it. It's insane how much, like, as a marketing bonus, it's the best thing you can do as a brand. Just put a wrap on your bike, and it doesn't even need to be new. Just people will be like, oh, what is it? Oh, that's sick. Is it something new? They ask a lot of questions. You're just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I can't tell you anything. Amazing.
But it feels special, and it's cool to be a part of something exciting. And I can't wait for all the rest of the people to finally get to see it and to ride it, because I'm a massive fan.
Excellent. And you've carried over like the vast majority of components from before, right? So you've not had too much, I guess, to get used to. Like, you know the suspension, you know the brakes, you know the drivetrain. So
exactly,
feeling pretty comfortable, I guess. Yeah,
it's so cool. Like also when I did the first ride, it was like, oh, the platform, you know, it's like home. that's the bike I literally started racing on. Like that was my first kid's bike when I was like 14, and it's my first bike I raced the World Cup, and now I'm back on it. It got tuned up, modified, and it's better for racing, so I'm hooked.